the video for making the graduation bags, remember I create the template. You can go in and redesign it however you want. This is how the template looks when it's on the computer. I do mine just in Google just to print it off as a PDF in Canva. It does come as a Canva template. So all the pieces on the template have where you fold them up. So what I would advise is to do a blank sheet of paper, not any glossy photo paper, and fold it around so you can see where everything goes. So when you're making your design, you're not putting it where a part is folded at. Of course, if it's a folded part, you're not going to be able to see the image or picture. Now you can put patterns on the folded parts too. That way your box will have like a lot of colors and stuff on it, and it doesn't have like a white piece. If say your design is something dark and that white piece may stick out. So I do have the lines in the paper of where it's supposed to go in your template. So this is me just folding up all the edges. If you do your design correctly and you are able to fold up all your edges, if you design it where the line stops, then you'll know that's where you need to fold all your edges to complete the bag. So this is just me folding up all the edges and making sure everything is lined up correctly. So when I am making the bag, it will be easier to put together. This part I'm just going to speed up, but it's basically just me again, just folding everything, making sure that the edges are folded neatly. Now this is the tape that I use. This is double-sided permanent tape. It works just fine. I know that some people like to use glue or glue guns. I like the double-sided tape because it sticks very well. I never have to worry about where, if it's going to come off or if the bag is going to open up. I've put some pretty heavy items in there, so the double-sided tape does work. Now, I will say it's better to put them in shorter lengths rather than just making long strips of tape. It's a little easier just to do it that way. To me, I think it sticks better and you have more control. So you want to make sure that you are just placing all of them flatly on there, because that's going to be the key. If it's not flat, then your bag is going to come out kind of bulky and you don't want that. So you're going to go back over everywhere that you put the lines, because remember, when you made the crease, it was from the inside. So now you have to go back and make the crease from the outside. So this is just me making sure that it's creased and it's flat, because those corners are what you really want to be flat, because the front is going to be flat regardless, because there's no other place where it's going. So that's why I have it that way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slide that piece inside. But before you do that, you're going to put tape in that inside portion. That way it stays locked on there. So I'm going to get a piece of tape and place it right on the top on there. It's going to be 2 pieces of tape that you can use. You want to use, again, like shorter pieces of tape. You don't want to use really long pieces of tape because you'll lose a little bit of control doing it that way. Make sure your tape is flat. That way you won't have any bulkiness coming out of there. So I did 3 pieces, one at the top to secure that little fold part, and then the others are going to secure the actual bag together. So I'm just securing the edges again. I'm putting my fingers in the inside of it to make sure I smash down where the paper and the tape are together. Because remember, with photo glossy paper, the inside, the paper where you don't print on, if it's not a double-sided photo glossy paper that you can print on, the other side of the paper is still very, very soft. It's like a smoothness. So you want to make sure that the tape, the permanent tape and the paper stick together good. So I'm just going through, making sure I tape it down good. Now, right now, I'm just figuring out which way I want the bottom to fold. Because sometimes with the bottom, depending on your design, you may have a design or you may have your logo or something on the bottom. So you just want to make sure that you figure out where your tape is going to go before you actually tape it down. So with this, I'm going to tape it this way. I'm going to do the 2 smaller flaps in the inside first, because these are what's going to hold down the bottom portion of it. So I'm just putting small pieces of tape. You don't need like a really big piece of tape, just small pieces of tape. You're going to make sure that those lay flat up against your bigger part. So make sure that also that it's going to stick to there, because you don't want to have it where it's halfway on the tape and then halfway on the paper. So make sure that it's stuck to the paper. Once you do that, you're going to get another piece to put on the longer section. Again, you're not going to use a long piece of tape to do it. You're just going to use short pieces of tape. I find that it works better that way. You have more control. If you do have a way that it comes apart, at least it'll be on a piece and not the whole thing if you use a long piece of tape. So I'm going in the inside and pressing up against where the tape lands. That way it's still pushed together. As you can see, it's put together pretty well. So the next part we're going to do is the holes in it. Now, there are different ways that you can put the holes in it. You can measure. You can just wing it, which is what I usually do. But I first need to get a hole punch. You get any hole punch, any size. So I'll screenshot below the type of rope that I use. It's just a nylon rope, I believe, a decorative trim rope. You can use anything. You can use ribbons. You can use, they have the other kind of, the flat ribbons. You can use those if you want. So what I do is I kind of smush the bag together on the sides. That way when I make my hole, I'm not having to guess 4 different places where the hole is going. I just have to put the hole punch in there and make 2 holes, and they'll be even on both sides. So right now that's all I'm doing is putting the gift bag together. That way it will stay in one place. I have some clamps that I'm going to use, so I'm going to clamp the sides of both of those. That way, again, I won't have to be guessing where the hole is or having it kind of uneven. So this way it'll help it keep it even. So this is me just using my clamps to stick on the edges. And remember, it really doesn't matter if the inside has creases in them, because remember, gift bags, when they come like in the stores, they come like that with those, with the edges kind of, folded in. So it doesn't really matter. But again, remember your design. If you can do these without holes if you want to. Initially I was going to do it without a hole, so that's why the name is so high up. But I end up doing it with the hole. Again, you just punch the hole through. Remember, it's going to give you 4 holes because we closed up both sides. You may take a little bit of force to close it, but there it is. It's all done. So you're going to take the clamps off. You're going to go back and you're going to get your decorative trim or your ribbon or whatever you want to use. Now remember, I burned the ends of mine because with this decorative trim, it's kind of loose as far as how they roped it in. So you're going to want to kind of put something on the end of it, some hot glue, or you can burn it with the lighter, just to make sure that those ends don't come loose. You just tie it in a knot and you do all 4 sides. And this is how it looks. It doesn't need to be a long rope. It can be something short because remember, it has to match the size of the bag. So if the bag is small, you don't want to have long rope on it or long ribbons on it. This is how it looks when it's finished. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know, especially about the ribbon part. Thanks.